Rachel, thanks so much for being here on Science of Wellbeing. I know that we have talked a lot about your journey and would love to share it as it relates to one, getting yourself healthier, and two, having that change resonate within your family. So, can you share a little bit about your journey to eating healthier and also managing that with small children?
100%. So I think over the years, I always tried to be generally healthy as far as, you and I understand it. I'm sure a lot of people understand it, eating a salad instead of, a Big Mac, obviously. The little things, eating healthy snacks, trying not to overeat, watching my calorie intake. And it just kind of evolved over the years just by gaining education and doing it for myself, like the importance of prioritizing protein, the different macronutrients we need, limiting sugar, and just gradually over time, increasing my knowledge and making sure that I was doing things that were optimizing my health and getting strong. It wasn't about being skinny. I think earlier in my life, I focused on the aesthetic aspect, and now it's more like, okay, I want to be 80-year-old lifting a 40-pound suitcase over my head in the airplane to go on my trips kind of thing. And then I'd say that evolved into, making sure my children were healthy as well. It's a lot easier at dinner time, I'll tell you that, instead of making several different meals for different people of the family. But getting everybody on board makes it not only easier for myself, but they're learning from my habits and implementing them at either my house, and then they also go to dad's house. So they're also making healthier choices over there too. And it's just kind of a cumulative effect that's really worked well.
Within your specific situation, you co-parent, and that can be challenging, especially when it comes from a nutrition perspective, because you don't have all the control of what happens at mom or dad's house. So tell me a little bit about how that nutrition you had shared, your kids are making healthier decisions over there. What did that look like for you?
Absolutely. So it's a great question because I think most people might assume that I was like talking with their dad and their stepmom and saying, hey, we're doing this over here. What are y'all doing over there? That was not the case at all. What actually happened was we're doing these healthy choices over here. The kids are buying in, which I think is really important because we're consistently talking about the why about behind why we're doing this. We're talking about this is fueling our bodies. This is making us strong. This is helping us in school to perform better and make us feel more full, longer. And they were bought in over here. So it naturally made them want to make similar choices at their dad's house. Their dad and stepmom are pretty healthy, but there's even instances where they're kind of educating stepmom and dad on, hey, we want to eat eggs for breakfast now instead of cereal, those kinds of things, and saying, hey, can we have eggs?
Yeah,
It's just
that's
small things
wonderful.
that have compounded and made an impact upon them. And it is a gradual process. It's not all in one day, and you have to be patient and just know that progress is always good, not
Yeah,
perfection.
absolutely. Kids watch what we do. And if we empower them with the why, just like you said, and educate them on certain areas, especially nutrition, they tend to do those on their own. So tell us a little bit about your family and what first made nutrition a priority in your home.
So I have two kids. They are 12 and 8. We are a co-parenting situation where they have dad and stepmom and a couple of little siblings over there. But essentially, it's just the three of us every other week. I, of course, got on the train first. And prior to that, I was, like I said, mentioning the unhealthy things I was buying and popping in their lunch, just like, I saw around me. But then I started to get a lot healthier in my day to day and just really focused on that, wanting to improve my performance in the gym and just feel better overall. It's made a huge impact. And then I was like, I need to get my kids on board with this too. I want us all to be healthy, be strong, and continue those habits into adulthood because what we do now 100% impacts them, and it's something that will carry them into adulthood. And I want to set them up for that. I did not grow up that way, but I want to impart that into them as well.
Yeah. And a lot of parents feel like they need to just go into their cupboards and clear everything and overhaul everything overnight. And then there's a mass revolt that happens. So tell me a little bit about how you, through your healthy choices, also had that spill over to your children and how you made it, or you said they bought in. How did you get them to buy in?
I have two very different kids. One is my son. He is very focused on athletics, football, basketball. So he already has that, fuel my body kind of mindset. So he was a lot easier. He also likes a lot of diverse foods. My daughter, on the other hand, while she loves gymnastics and things like that, she isn't really into athletic performance per se. And she loves sweets. She loved the Doritos, the Cheetos, all of the things. And so it was two very different, very, very different, I guess, pathways. Joseph, it was, hey, let's eat eggs. Let's eat some protein. It's the first meal of the day. It's so important. This is going to fuel your body. Even drinking salt water with some lemon juice in it. This is going to make you so much more well hydrated than a Gatorade with sugar in it. And he was like, this makes me perform better on the athletic field. Sign me up. So he was very easy. And the other, not so much. Kennedy fought me tooth and nail. She would cry. She would complain. She would sit like this at the dinner table and say, I'm not eating that. And so my methodology with her was to, first of all, lean into the healthy things she really does like and capitalize on those and get as many of those things in her as possible. Like she loves hummus, of all things. She loves yogurt. She likes eggs. She likes chicken. And so trying to get as much of that into her as her little body as possible. And then whenever there's a food she didn't like, I encouraged her to try it. And she had to try it. And because our taste buds evolve, and we explain that, like as you get older, the more you try things, the more you may be, inclined to like them. So that is a rule. You have to try something before you refuse to eat it. And so whenever we have something at dinner, she has to try it. I'm not saying she has to try it every single day. Like we're not having Brussels sprouts every day, but in whatever we're having for dinner, if she doesn't like something that's on the menu, she's trying it. And then that actually made her start to like things. Like we would try things at a different time. She would start to like them. For instance, now she eats asparagus. She eats steak. She never would touch those things. And then just healthy swaps in her lunches. It also mattered what I would buy. So I am in control of the grocery list. So I would try to do things like dried fruit. Like she loves dried strawberries, things like that. She loves some types of nuts. She loves cheese. So leaning into the stuff she will eat, putting that in her lunch, and then slowly but surely taking out one unhealthy thing at a time. Like the Cheetos, Doritos, the cookies, and it doesn't mean they can't have dessert, because I don't think that should be a rule either. We still have dessert. We still have ice cream. We still have these things, but they have to prioritize the healthy things first. And when they do that, you can have a treat that is, the exception, not the rule, a few times a week, and they can have it at birthday parties, things like that. But when they are practicing these habits on a daily basis, even when she goes to a sleepover or a birthday party now, she says no to the chips. She's like, I don't really care for pizza, but I'll have, this, I'm good. I already ate, whatever we feel like is an appropriate conversation for her to have. So she's not rude, but they end up making those decisions on their own. And it's pretty amazing.
I love that you mentioned that taste buds change, because there is science to that taste buds do evolve. And, the literature says kids really need to try foods. And of course, it varies for what food it is, but generally at least a handful of times, so 5 or more times, before you can officially say like, okay, we're done with this food. It's just not going to happen right now, and maybe try it in 6 months from then. So tell me a little bit about that, because you said she eats asparagus, and that's a pretty bitter taste especially for young kids. So how many times did you have her try that, and what did you do each time?
Well, thank you for educating me on that science because I was just kind of going with it. Whenever we'd have asparagus, I'd have her try it. So, I mean, we don't have asparagus that often. I would say it took about a year and a half. I mean, we've been doing this for probably going on 3 years now. So, however many times we had asparagus in that time frame. And then she's like, you know what? I like this. Or she'll even try stuff over at dad's house because they kind of do a similar thing. And so she'll try different things over there and say, hey, mom, now I like carrots or things like that, which I'm like, oh, that's great. Or mom, can you buy, what else does she's like, I like grapes now. She used to never eat grapes. So it'll kind of pop in and she'll try something maybe somewhere else, not even necessarily here. And she'll discover, hey, I like this. So just celebrating that, doing a lot of positive reinforcement, saying, oh my gosh, that is so amazing. That's so healthy for you. Your body loves when you give it these whole foods. So just being positive about that. But yeah, your taste buds do evolve, thankfully. So she's a work in progress, but the number of healthy foods she likes is growing all the time. So just keep
Awesome.
trying, keep plugging away as you see the opportunities pop up.
What were some of the changes that you did that gave you the biggest return?
I would say 100% the chips, just because chips are so accessible. They're everywhere. Every kid has them in their lunch. So those were a big one because then when they're at home, they want to reach for those. It's just like the little snack foods that are designed chemically to make you want more. So swapping those out for even like a pita chip, I'm okay with, as opposed to like the really chemically processed chips and things like that. If we can do something that has cleaner ingredients, I'm okay with that, paired with like a hummus. So that's a big one just because the snacking is constantly making them hungry and then they don't want to eat dinner. So that was a big one. I would also say we don't have any cereal anymore. Cereal's like another staple that people go to in the morning. It's easy, it's convenient. And instead focusing on protein, especially eggs, because eggs are a very low cost superfood that gives them so many vitamins and nutrients for their brain. I was like, Kennedy, did you notice when you had eggs this morning how full you were until you got to lunchtime? You weren't starving like you're normally starving. And she was like, yeah, I did notice that. And just pointing out little things like that was a big one. So just making sure they get that protein in will keep them more full longer. It helps nourish their body. It keeps them sustained and full. And it makes a huge difference on them wanting to reach for the unhealthy snack. It's just incorporating protein wherever you can.
Protein does help to satiate, keep the hunger signals at bay, and also provide proteins as they're developing and growing their little bodies. What were the easiest additions that you made that any parent that is watching this could make tomorrow?
I would say fruit in lieu of the candies or the sweet snacks. Just going for any fruit that they like and say, hey, swap this for that. Instead of chips, maybe cheese sticks or hard-boiled eggs if they like those. Yogurts instead of pudding. A lot of people have those little pudding cups, or even like pudding with or even yogurts with like the M&Ms in it. Like, no. You can get plenty of really great yogurts, put a little drizzle of honey on it, and then eventually like pull back the honey. It's just small incremental changes that really add up. Don't focus necessarily on eliminating everything sweet, but healthier sweets, if that makes sense. So going for the fruit instead of the candy, going for the yogurt that's nutrient dense.
There's a lot of yogurts out there, and if you look at the back of them and the grams of sugar, just buyers beware. Not all yogurts are made the same. I have an episode on yogurts, whether they're a hidden sugar or not. So make sure you look at the sugar content. How do you avoid creating food battles within and creating negative associations?
Absolutely. I think it's definitely keeping a positive attitude about the whole thing. And I even told Kennedy the other night because we were having something she wasn't a fan of, salmon. And I said, remember, this is something we're trying. It's not a punishment. This is to help you. This is to help your body. This is to help you live the healthiest life. You're going to feel better. You're going to be beautiful, smart, talented because you're investing in yourself. She used to have all these stomach pains and eczema and different kind of inflammatory responses to what she was eating. I was like, you just remind her, like, hey, this is a positive. You're feeling really good. Give it a try and, have a few bites and then consider it a win. You don't have to say like, oh, you didn't eat the whole thing or, oh, she's not trying it. Say, all right, if you're not going to eat this tonight, eat the other things and we'll try again tomorrow. That's another thing. You
Yeah.
have those leftovers when you're cooking for yourself and your family, and she can try again tomorrow. But with consistency and the messaging of it being positive, it's not a punishment. We are doing this for our collective benefit, for our health, for our bodies. And we want to be strong because I think another worry is like we're trying to be skinny. That is not the message. And I think they see that, especially as they get older. But we're trying to be strong.
I love that. We're trying to be strong. We're trying to fuel our bodies, whether it's for sports or for school or just for life, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What swap surprised you the most?
I would say her favorite thing in the world is to eat like a little bag of nuts with a date thrown in. She loves dates. She calls them big raisins. I just had her try that one day. I was like, pair them together, like the sweet and the salty, just give it a try. And she was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. She used to be all about Gushers. She's like, these kind of taste like a Gusher. And I'm like, okay.
Easy peasy.
Sounds great.
A natural
like
Gusher.
The texture, a natural Gusher. So yeah, she loves that. And that definitely surprised me. But yeah, just try it all and they'll find things. Even like dried mango, you can get like the unsulfured dry mango and that tastes like a Sour Patch Kid to her. So she's my sweets gal, obviously. So, but I'm happy with it and we just focus on protein in the core meals. And if she's going to eat like, some dried fruit in between, I'm good with that.
Do you notice any change in their behavior? You had mentioned Kennedy had health, like some eczema. Can you chat a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So she had eczema and always had an upset stomach when we were going to bed. And I couldn't understand what was going on. I was like, here, take a probiotic. That wasn't really helping, but it was really the amount of sugar I think she was taking in. At dinner, she would have very carb heavy meals, like I just want mac and cheese kind of thing. And it was really upsetting her stomach. She had eczema issues. And then when we took away the processed, like the ultra processed foods, the eczema went away. And she's sleeping a lot better because she's waking up. She's getting her energy first thing in the morning. She's doing all the things. She's not having the high and low crashes. Her insulin is regulated and the glucose spikes are regulated. So I think that just helped overall with her mood and her ability to go to sleep. I mean, the list is endless, I think, of how this has helped the kids as far as behavior, mood regulation, which I get because, I used to be in that same boat myself. So it makes perfect sense that they felt the same.
As somebody that also co-parents, an interesting thing that happens, and I'm sure you notice it on transition day, it's already an emotional day. And sometimes behavior takes a little bit of time to get back into the routine of mom's house or dad's house. So do you notice it help with any of that?
100%. And I think it's the food as well as just the structure of it. So I think kids feel really safe when they have structure. It provides this innate sense of stability that they don't even realize that's missing. So when we're taking care of them by helping them take care of their bodies, they innately feel that. At mom's house or even at dad's house now, they're eating healthily. Their moods are more evenly regulated. And I think that has helped with that. We really don't have much of that at all because I truly think they're just emotionally regulated as a whole. I'm not saying it's never a tough moment, but it's a lot different in their overall day-to-day regulation of their emotions, to put it lightly. Just that stability and security that comes with that.
Yeah, with proper nutrition, I think
Mhm.
it gets downplayed a lot, and how it impacts our mood, how we show up, how our kids are showing up.